You check their homework, you cut their food into perfect bites, and you rush to solve every little problem. You think you're being a great parent, setting them up for success. But what if those well-intentioned habits are secretly paving a future of anxiety and a deep-seated fear of failure? What if the very things you do out of love are quietly chipping away at your child's confidence? It's a terrifying thought for any parent, and it's one we need to talk about, openly and honestly. We're here to shed light on 5 common parenting mistakes that can unknowingly hold your child back. More importantly, we're going to explore the small, powerful shifts you can make to build real resilience, confidence, and emotional well-being. Mistake number 1: helicopter parenting. Let's start with a mistake born from the deepest, most primal form of love, the desire to protect. We call it helicopter parenting. It's that impulse to hover and swoop in to save the day at the first sign of a struggle. Your toddler drops a toy, and you pick it up before they even get frustrated. Your kid forgets their lunch, and you drop everything to race it to school. Your teen has a spat with a friend, and you're already on the phone trying to mediate. These actions come from a place of care, but they send a devastating, unspoken message. You can't handle this on your own. The long-term impact is huge. When we consistently shield children from challenges, we rob them of the chance to develop essential life skills like problem-solving and resilience. Psychological research shows that over-involved parenting can erode a child's self-esteem by making them deeply dependent. Children of helicopter parents can internalize the belief that they just aren't capable. This can lead to more anxiety and depression later because they feel fundamentally unequipped for life's inevitable bumps. A study in the journal Developmental Psychology found that over-controlling parenting at age 2 was linked to poorer emotional and behavioral regulation by age 5. By trying to clear the path of all obstacles, we deny them the chance to build the very muscles they need to walk that path alone. So, what's the fix? It's about shifting from being a helicopter to being a lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't sail out to rescue every ship. It stands firm, provides a guiding light, and trusts the captains to navigate the waters. In practice, this means taking a deliberate step back. When your child is struggling with something they're capable of, pause. Let them feel the frustration. Let them try, fail, and try again. That's where competence is born. Let your 5-year-old pour their own juice, even if it spills. Let your 10-year-old feel the natural consequence of forgetting their homework. This doesn't mean you're abandoning them. You're communicating the most powerful message of all. I trust you. I believe you can figure this out. And I'm here to support you, not solve for you. Mistake number 2: harsh criticism or sarcasm. We've all been there. You've had a long day, your patience is shot, and your kid does something that pushes you right over the edge. In that moment of frustration, a sharp comment slips out. "Why are you always so clumsy?" Or sarcastic, "Could you possibly make a bigger mess?" We tell ourselves it's just a momentary lapse, but when this becomes a pattern, it creates a toxic environment for a child's developing sense of self. The long-term damage of frequent, harsh criticism is staggering. Kids don't have the filter that adults do. They can't easily separate constructive feedback from personal attacks. They internalize these words as fundamental truths about who they are. A 2018 study found that children of critical parents face an increased risk of depression and anxiety later in life. This parenting style helps create a harsh inner critic, that relentless voice of self-doubt that follows them into adulthood. They might become people pleasers, desperately seeking outside approval to quiet the inner voice telling them they're not good enough. Research has even shown that growing up with highly critical parents can alter brain activity, making individuals feel losses more acutely and get less of a buzz from success. The transformation here is to move from criticizing the person to addressing the behavior. It's about separating your child's identity from their actions. As psychologist Dr. Becky Kennedy says, you hold 2 things at once. Your child is a good kid, and they made a poor choice. So instead of, "You are so messy," try, "You made a mess. Let's get the towels and clean it up together." This small shift in wording is huge. It says the behavior is the problem, not the child. It reframes the issue as a solvable problem, not a character flaw. Assume they have good intentions. A kid who spills milk isn't trying to ruin your day. They're a kid whose motor skills are still under construction. When you approach these moments with an us versus the problem, not me versus you mindset, you turn a moment of potential shame into a moment of connection. Mistake number 3, using punishment as a motivator. This one is practically baked into traditional parenting, often passed down for generations. The logic seems simple. Do something wrong, get a punishment, and the negative experience will stop you from doing it again. If you don't clean your room, you lose your tablet for a week. While punishment might work in the short term, its long-term effects are often the opposite of what we want. Punishment operates on fear and control, while its healthier cousin, discipline, operates on teaching and connection. The problem is that punishment teaches a child what not to do to avoid getting in trouble, but it fails to teach them what to do instead. It's all about control, not building skills. This can foster resentment and secrecy as kids learn to hide mistakes rather than learn from them. A 2021 study found that children who were spanked showed stronger brain activation in areas that process threats, similar to children who experienced more severe forms of abuse. This fear-based motivation kills intrinsic motivation. The child's goal isn't to become a more responsible person, it's simply to avoid mom or dad's anger. This actually weakens resilience and accountability. The transformation is to move from being a punisher to being a guide. The root of the word discipline actually means to teach. This approach is about building skills. It involves setting clear, firm boundaries, but enforcing them with empathy and logical consequences. For example, instead of, "You didn't do your homework, so you're grounded," a discipline approach sounds like, "The rule is homework gets done before screen time. Since you chose to play first, the natural consequence is there's no time left for the tablet tonight. How can we make a better plan for tomorrow?" This connects the consequence directly to the behavior, maintains the boundary without shame, and opens the door for problem solving. You're teaching self-control from the inside out, rather than imposing it from the outside in. Mistake number 4, overusing praise or invalidating emotions. This one's a double-edged sword. On one side, we have the overuse of person-based praise. We want to build confidence, so we shower them with compliments. "You're so smart. You're such a natural." On the other side, we have emotional invalidation. A child is crying over something that seems small, and we say, "Don't be sad. It's not a big deal." Or, "You're fine. Stop crying." First, let's talk about praise. Research by psychologist Carol Dweck shows that praising innate traits like intelligence, "You're so smart," can backfire. It fosters a fixed mindset, where a child believes their abilities are set in stone. This makes them terrified of challenges because if they fail, it threatens their smart label. They become less resilient and avoid taking risks. On the flip side, dismissing a child's feelings is just as harmful. When we tell a kid that what they're feeling is wrong or an overreaction, we teach them not to trust their own emotional compass. They learn that certain feelings are bad, so they start to suppress them. This doesn't make the feelings go away, it just pushes them underground, often leading to anxiety and confusion later. The fix for both is to practice process-based praise and emotional validation. Instead of praising the person, praise the effort. Instead of, "You got an A, you're so smart," try, "I saw how hard you studied for that test. Your effort really paid off." This fosters a growth mindset, teaching kids that abilities grow with effort. For emotions, the goal is to validate the feeling, even if you don't validate the behavior. Instead of, "Don't be sad," try, "I can see you're really sad that we have to leave the park. It's hard to go when you're having fun." You aren't fixing it, you're just acknowledging their reality. This simple act of acceptance is incredibly powerful. It tells your child your feelings are real, they are valid, and I'm here with you. Mistake number 5. Over-negotiating or caving to demands. Every parent knows the scene. You announce it's time for bed, and the negotiations begin. Just 5 more minutes, but I'm not even tired. Before you know it, what should have been a simple direction has become a 20-minute debate. In a moment of exhaustion, you cave. It feels easier. But when this becomes the norm, you're creating a household built on shaky ground. The long-term consequence of wishy-washy boundaries is a deep sense of insecurity for a child. Kids, despite their protests, crave structure. Boundaries are like the walls of a house. They provide safety. When those walls are constantly moving, the child feels anxious. They learn that rules aren't really rules, which forces them to constantly test and push to find out where the real limits are. This isn't defiance for defiance sake, it's a search for security. Consistent limits actually help strengthen the part of the brain responsible for impulse control and decision-making. When we're inconsistent, we're making that part of the brain's job harder. This can lead to adults who struggle with self-discipline and frustration tolerance. The transformation is to become the kind but firm leader of your home. This means setting clear, reasonable boundaries and holding them with calm confidence. The key is to validate their desire while still holding the limit. I know you want to play for 5 more minutes. It's so much fun. And it's time for bed now. You're not a dictator, but you're not a doormat either. A great technique is to offer a choice within the boundary. This gives your child a sense of control and reduces resistance. It's time to get ready for bed. Do you want to wear the dinosaur pajamas or the rocket ship pajamas? The choice isn't whether to go to bed. That part is non-negotiable. But by offering a small choice, you empower your child and turn a power struggle into a moment of cooperation. Conclusion. As we've looked at these 6 patterns, from helicoptering and harsh words to overscheduling and caving on boundaries, the common thread is that they almost always come from a place of love. The point of this was never to add to your list of parental worries. It's the opposite. It's to empower you with awareness. To see these patterns is to have the power to change them. Please hear this. You are not a bad parent for having done any of these things. Every single parent has been there. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. It's recognizing a pattern and choosing to try something different next time. It's about apologizing to your child when you get it wrong, which is one of the most powerful things you can model. By making these small, intentional shifts, you're not just correcting a mistake, you are fundamentally reshaping your child's inner world, giving them a foundation of resilience and confidence that will last a lifetime.